Hello everybody, Amaksi Kung Pao here with another GT7 video. In this video I'll be showing you how to get the most money for the shortest amount of time for the Abarth and the Daytona money grind exploit. My car setup mixed in with the event settings I came up with will provide you guys with the best Abarth method on YouTube. My setup is super easy to drive and it gets consistent sub 40-second lap times, sometimes getting down to a 38.5. The reason the car is so fast is because I made the setup in such a way where the car can easily spray NOS throughout the entire lap without traffic and without coming in contact with the outside wall. As a matter of fact, in the race I use nitrous for over 80% of the race and only disengage at the start or when my line will be compromised by traffic. So with that said, let's take a look at my Abarth setup. What you're taking a gander right now is my main money grind setup. The only things worth mentioning that you may want to know is that I do not have a wide body applied, so do not apply wide body to this build. You also need to make sure you apply the maximum downforce and 70% nitrous output. The rest of the setup is just as important, but those things are what people often overlook when copying another person's setup. Here's my transmission. The easiest way to apply this is to apply the final setting first, and then apply everything going up from there, from the bottom to the top. Now that's really all I have to say for the Abarth setup. Now let's get to tuning the opponent cars. For the event settings, you need to change a few things. First off, put the lap count to 10. The reason for this is your nitrous. You'll be going so much faster with nitrous that the usual 26 lap races you normally see are actually going to make you less money. You'll be using so much NOS that you'll run out in the beginning of lap 10 if you spray like I do. No NOS laps are more than 2.5 seconds slower on average per lap, and this will cost you too much money per lap if you do the normal 26 laps. Remember that time is money, and if I could spray NOS for the entire 26 laps, you'd be looking at a low 17-minute total time for the race, but normal NOS 26 lap races take over a minute longer throughout the full race. Plus, since you're doing shorter races, you'll be getting more consistent clean race bonuses because shorter races give you less chances to crash and end your bonus. It is also better to have the race set to begin from a standing start. This is because the rolling starts are inconsistent with the AI not knowing how to accelerate at the start without crashing. So this time it's best to set the race to a standing start. Set tire, fuel consumption, and mechanical damage to off. Also make sure you have the boost setting off for a better payout and set your nitrous usage multiplier to ×10 to make the NOS last longer. I recommend you enable eco conditions mode because that's what I use, and I don't know if the setup behaves differently with wind enabled. Set the time to midnight because you get slightly more grip at night than in the daytime. Now this is when you're going to start adding the Tomahawk X's to the grid. To do this, press select from garage under rival selection. After that, press select from garage located immediately under the rival selection setting, then select a car, then select to change car. Select the Tomahawk you just set up, then do this for the rest of the grid. Set the rival difficulty to professional level for a better payout and turn off the flag rules. The opponents never really crash with these settings, but I like to be extra safe to ensure that I get my bonus credits in the end. Now with everything set up and ready to go, let's race. For the start of the race, be very cautious on throttle. This car loves to wheelie from a standstill, so don't activate the NOS until 4th gear, although you can get away with activating it a little sooner, but it is better safe than sorry. For the first part of T1, let off the NOS since on the first lap the car does like the wheel spin around this corner. When your car stops squealing, you can re-engage the NOS and stay on it through the rest of the corner. The best line to take through these corners is to enter somewhat near the inside, come up in the middle, and exit somewhere near the inside. You don't want to go all the way to the apex because this decreases traction and increases your likelihood of driving over the yellow lines on the inside, which will spin you out if you're not careful. One common way to crash is by performing a wheelie from hitting a wall at speed. When you notice the front end coming up, immediately let off the NOS and the throttle until your car is leveled with the road again. If you're coming up on traffic at the beginning or the end of a corner, it is best to let off the NOS so that you can react better in response to where your opponents are going to be on the track by the time you start passing them. I didn't have the best luck with the AI in this race, as they didn't want to give me proper room to pass safely, as you can see here. I was really trying to not hit them, so I did bang my car against the wall a few times to avoid them. You don't want to hit your opponents at all, or your clean bonus goes away. Your bonus also goes away if you go below the yellow line as well. With the current event settings, these are the only two ways to finish without a bonus. Also, if you still have NOS by the end of the race, it is okay to increase the number of laps to the point where you normally run out of NOS on the final lap if you use less than I do. I did run out kind of early in this race, but that's fine. As long as you're not running out more than a lap and a half without NOS in the end, you're fine. So that'll be it for the Daytona Abarth credit grind guide, and I hope this helped you, and I hope you enjoy this more than the other methods. See you next time. Later guys.